Excellence does not begin with ambition. It begins with a minimum standard. If you judge yourself by your best intentions, you're going to fall short. If you create a vision of excellence so demanding that it becomes difficult to sustain, you'll miss the target. Then, very likely, you'll get discouraged and stop altogether. Excellence does not depend on what you can do on your best day, when everything aligns, you have energy, and circumstances are supporting you. That's not where excellence comes from. It's built on what you can reliably do on your worst day, the day when nothing is going the way you want it to, and you still maintain the minimum standard. That minimum creates a floor beneath your behavior, a foundation. And once that floor exists and is solid, growth is not only possible, it's inevitable. Today, I'm going to give you 6 reasons you should focus on building a solid floor before setting your sights on the ceiling. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Consistency, from fitness to flourishing. First, most failures are consistency failures, not failures of capability. People are capable of much more than they regularly do. It's not from a lack of knowledge. We all know we should exercise, get better sleep, eat healthier food, spend time educating ourselves, and spend less time distracted by social media and all the trivia fighting for our attention. The challenge is not understanding what excellence looks like. The challenge is maintaining movement toward it. When standards exist only at the level of ideal performance, we naturally fail to maintain consistency. It's not realistic. A minimum standard asks a different question. What's the too easy version of this behavior that I can do even on my worst day? The answer to that question keeps you moving forward when circumstances are less than ideal, which is most days for most of us. Second, the floor matters more than the ceiling. We are fascinated by potential. How much can I accomplish? How strong can I become? How productive can I be? But the outcomes we're looking for are not determined by our potential. They're established by the foundations we set. A person who occasionally performs at a world-class level, then disappears for days, weeks, or months, will make less progress than someone who consistently maintains a solid baseline of action. The floor determines continuity. Continuity determines progress, and progress is what gives you results. The tallest buildings require establishing the most solid foundations. The same is true of building a life. Third, a minimum standard reduces decision fatigue. If you're inconsistent about what you need to do each day, you have to negotiate with yourself every morning. Should I work out? How much? Is today a good day? Do I feel like it? That takes effort to sort through. The mind spends energy debating instead of directing action. A minimum standard removes that negotiation. The decision has already been made. You simply execute. This reduces cognitive friction and makes consistency easier to maintain over long periods. Fourth, excellence emerges from repetition, not breakthroughs. It's easy to think excellence comes down to a dramatic event, a moment of inspiration, one perfect performance. In reality, excellence is the visible result of thousands of ordinary repetitions. The minimum standard provides for those repetitions. It ensures progress continues during busy times, stress-inducing events, vacations, setbacks, and low motivation days. You can keep going because the minimum standard is doable. You're not trying to perform exceptionally every day. The goal is to avoid missing a day. With consistent repetition, excellence has more opportunity to emerge. Fifth, you build self-trust with the minimum standard. Every time you meet your minimum standard, you reinforce an important message to yourself. I do what I said I would do. Over time, your confidence becomes less dependent on how you feel because you have actual experience and evidence of what you're capable of doing. You trust yourself because you have demonstrated your reliability repeatedly. It's a mistake to try to build self-trust by setting standards too ambitious to maintain. When you commit to excellence beyond your ability to fulfill, you undermine your self-trust. A smaller promise consistently kept is more valuable than a larger promise repeatedly broken. Sixth, the minimum is not the goal. If you hear minimum standard and assume it encourages mediocrity, you misunderstand the purpose. The minimum is not the target. It's the fail-safe. It exists to ensure progress continues when circumstances aren't cooperating. Here's what's possible by having a solid minimum standard in place. You now have the freedom to exceed the minimum at your discretion. In the ACT Score Challenge, we use the scope of effort scale. It starts at crawl. That's the minimum standard we've been talking about here. This is what trains your consistency. There are 3 levels beyond this minimum, and when the timing is right or an opportunity arises, you can choose to walk, a comfortable, doable baseline, run, your standard of personal excellence, or fly, more than you expected of yourself. Any of those can happen on any day. But when you need it, on the difficult days, you protect the minimum. And in every case, you are exercising consistency. Here's what this means in practice. The minimum standard is not the excellence you strive for, but it is the foundation that gives you the opportunity to reach that excellence more consistently. People think excellence begins with extraordinary effort. In practice, it begins with a commitment so modest it can be maintained regardless of mood, motivation, or circumstances. It's so embarrassingly easy, you can do it on your worst day. That's the foundation. That standard keeps you moving forward. It prevents perfectionism from becoming paralysis. It turns consistency from an aspiration into a solid practice. Over time, the person who never falls below their minimum standard will accomplish far more than the person endlessly chasing their maximum. Excellence is not built from occasional breakthroughs or ambitious performances. It's built from standards that survive contact with real life. When you're ready to exercise consistency and establish your minimum standard, start your day one inside the ACT Score Challenge. Stack the days and practice the reps that reshape your identity. That's it for today. Catch you next time.